I like it. We ready to go? Okay. Planning Commission meeting of 10/21/2020 will come to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary will call roll, please.
Commissioner Tolson?
Here.
Commissioner Hodge?
Here.
Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Castleberry?
Here.
Chairperson Mann?
Here.
I have just a brief announcement. The Zoom operator who will read emails, if any, received after 5 p.m. for this meeting is Senior Management Analyst Julia Ramirez.
May I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Move. I move to approve the agenda.
A second by Commissioner.
I second.
Okay, motion is made by Vice Chair Castleberry with a second by Commissioner Rice. Unless there's any objections, the agenda stands approved. Okay, moving on. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Motion was made by Commissioner Tolson. May I have a second?
Second. Second.
Second by Commissioner Hodge. Unless there are any objections, the minutes are approved. Declaration of conflict. The Secretary will read the declaration of conflict.
If any member of the Planning Commission may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time.
Are there any declarations of conflict? Hearing none, we'll move on to public statements. This is the time allotted for public statements or comments on all items other than the public hearing items. Do we have any public statements? Do we have any emails regarding public statements? Obviously, nobody's in the chamber. Do we have any emails for public comments?
Mr. Ramirez, have we received any emails on public statements?
No, we have not.
Okay. Moving on to correspondence. Is there any correspondence from the Deputy Director, City Planners?
Good evening, Chairman. We did receive a supplemental, which was provided to you at your table and also via email for agenda item 11A1. It's a supplemental staff report on tonight's project addressing the tree report.
Okay. We have no consent calendar that I'm aware of. We have no continued business. Moving on to new business. This is the time and place set forth for public hearing on the consideration of CUP-S-831, SP-S-7- Amendment number 28, and the project's mitigated negative declaration. Are there any ex parte communications to report?
I received an email from the project applicant, but I did not return it.
I received an email from the applicant as well, asking if I had any questions, and I responded I did not have any questions.
Yes, this is Tim Hodge. I equally received the email from the applicant. I did not communicate otherwise.
It looks like Commissioner Tolson and I either didn't get the emails or they went to our spam filters. Okay, may we have an oral report on this matter by staff?
Good evening, Chairman Mann, members of the Planning Commission. Yeah, tonight is a conditional use permit and a zone text amendment to allow for construction of a warehouse distribution facility at the 400 National Way location. This will be recommendation to proceed to the city council because it's a specific plan text amendment. The final approval, should we take that direction, would go to the city council for their final decision. And our associate planner, Narn Gunasekera, is here to present the report. Narn?
Thank you, Sean. Good evening. The applicant, Greenlaw Partners, requests approval of a conditional use permit to operate a 154,568 square foot warehouse and distribution facility within an existing building on a 43.55 acre site located at 400 National Way. The request also includes a specific plan amendment to allow warehouse and distribution uses in the mixed-use zone within the West End specific plan, subject to a conditional use permit. The project also includes a mitigated negative declaration. The Planning Commission's actions would involve making a recommendation to the City Council, who would then make the final decision on the project. The project site is shown here at the terminus of Madeira Road, north of the 118 freeway. There are industrial and business park buildings to the north and the east, Madeira Road and vacant land beyond to the west, and the 118 freeway and retail shopping centers to the south. The site currently consists of an approximately 290,000 square foot office building, formerly occupied by the Bank of America corporate offices, and an associated parking lot and landscaped areas. There is an existing access to the site from Madeira Road via National Way, and the project will utilize the existing driveways and access. There will be one new driveway added on the southwest of the side of the property, connecting to National Way towards the west, as highlighted in the diagram. The parking lots on the east and the west will be resurfaced and restriped to create 490 larger parking spaces for delivery vans. The remainder of the stalls will be standard spaces, and there will be a total of 653 parking spaces. The existing parking structure on the north side of the project will not be changed, as it is reserved for the off-site building to the north. The existing building will undergo an interior remodel. The first floor will be converted to an approximately 143,000 square foot warehousing and sorting space, as shown in yellow, and 11,600 square feet of offices and employee area, shown in red.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
All I'm seeing is the agenda. I'm not seeing anything, but I assume that he's reviewing certain slides that identify the things that he's talking about. All is the agenda identified with the new business, at that particular location in the agenda.
Okay, we're going to try.
There you go.
Okay.
We good now?
Yes, sorry about that.
Okay, we're on a roll now.
Do you want to go back?
Back up to the site plan.
Okay. I'm just going to back up to the site plan. And as you can see here, as I mentioned, the site consists of an approximately 290,000 square foot office building, formerly occupied by the Bank of America corporate offices, a parking lot, and landscaped areas. There's an existing access to the site from Madeira Road via National Way, and the project will utilize the existing driveways and access. There will be one new driveway added on the southwest side of the property, connecting to National Way towards the west, as highlighted in the diagram by the red arrow. The parking lots in the east and west.
The slides are not moving on my screen.
Nor mine. I have the title page, and I see the subsequent pages on the extreme left, but they're very small.
Darren, could you run the slideshow, please?
Is that better?
Outstanding. Yes.
Okay.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Where was I? The parking lots in the east and the west will be resurfaced and restriped to create 490 larger parking spaces for delivery vans. The remainder of the stalls will be standard spaces, and there will be a total of 653 parking spaces. The existing parking structure to the north side of the project will not be changed, as it is reserved for the off-site building to the north. The existing building will undergo an interior remodel. The first floor will be converted to an approximately 143,000 square foot warehousing and sorting space, shown in yellow, and the 11,600 square feet of offices and employee area, shown in red. The second floor will be closed off and will not be utilized as part of this project. An approximately 27,000 square foot canopy will be added to the south side of the existing building, as shown in blue. The existing building ranges from 34 feet to 40 feet in height and is precast concrete painted white with a sand and aggregate finish. Here you can see the proposed south elevation and a photo of the current area. There is an existing bronze anodized aluminum storefront system with gold reflective glazing. The facade will be repainted and refurbished. Enhancements will be made to the existing entryway for customer package pickup on the west side of the building. The proposed canopy will be 16 feet tall with a steel frame structure. The fascia and columns will be finished in stucco painted to match the building's white and bronze color scheme. Landscape will be rehabilitated on the entire site, including new landscape islands in the parking lot and new landscaping along National Way and portions of the property fronting Madeira. The applicant has provided a draft tree report to provide further information on the number and value of the trees to be removed for the project. The city's consulting arborist has provided an initial review of the materials and advised that, subject to field verification, 16 protected trees are to be removed with a total value of $114,000 and $980. The removals will be mitigated with upsized replacement trees on the final landscape plan. The applicant is proposing planting a row of holyoke trees on the slope to the south of the canopy and loading area that will provide screening for this area. It will provide screening from the 118 freeway and the retail shopping center along Cochrane Street. The final landscape plan will be conditioned to ensure that the size of trees planted will ensure that the canopy will be screened completely within 5 years. The project site is located within the boundaries of the Western Specific Plan area. This is the general area within the specific plan where the project is located. The project site is highlighted in red. In order to accommodate the requested project, a specific plan amendment is required to allow the warehouse and distribution use within the mixed-use zone. The proposed amendments will include changes to the use matrix, Table 4-1 in the Western Specific Plan, to add local trucking, storage, and courier services as uses requiring a CUP in the MU zone. There are also minor text cleanup changes proposed throughout the document that do not affect the intentions or provisions of the plan. Changes are focused on ensuring the standards for the MU zone are not tied explicitly to the scope of the previously approved mixed-use project for the site, approved in 2017, and include removal of figures specific to this mixed-use project. The proposed amendments will facilitate the reuse of the existing building in its current configuration. As a refresher, this site was approved for a mixed-use development with hotel, commercial, and multi-family uses in 2017. The current applicant recently acquired the property, and the former mixed-use proposal is not moving forward at this time. As shown in the table and detailed on page 8 to 10 of the staff report, the proposed project meets the setbacks, height requirements, and off-street parking requirements of the Development Code and the West End Specific Plan. An initial study was prepared for the project in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. Based on the conclusions of the initial study, it was determined that the project could have a significant impact on tribal cultural resources. However, the applicant has incorporated a mitigation measure, consulting with the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians on the treatment of any tribal cultural resources encountered during grading into the project. This would reduce the potentially significant environmental impacts to an insignificant level. Just as a correction to the agenda title, there is no monitoring program associated with this project. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of the CUP and the project's mitigated negative declaration. This concludes my presentation, and staff are available for questions.
Do any commissioners have any questions currently of staff?
None for me.
Okay, hearing none. Let's go ahead and open up the public testimony portion of the hearing. Would the applicant like to present the project? I'm assuming we have an
I
applicant.
believe they would.
Yeah, we do. Derek, are you available to speak? I'm not seeing Rob on the call.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, now we can.
We can hear somebody.
Oh, can you hear now? Okay. Yeah,
myself and Rob.
Yeah, can you hear us now? Are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is Rob Mitchell talking. I'm here with Derek. We're Green Law Partners. We're the owner applicant on the project, and I just wanted to start out, I'd like to thank planning commissioners for their time this evening. And I would also like to thank the staff for all their assistance on the project. From the very first time we met with them 6 months ago and introduced our plans for 400 National Way, the staff has been 100% beyond our vision of turning the site into a last mile location for Amazon. Tonight we put together a brief presentation in addition to staff's for our plans for the site and the building. I got a couple of members of our development team on the call tonight to walk through the presentation, answer any questions, and discuss the operations and economic benefits of Amazon. First, I'd like to introduce you to Matt Goldsner. He is our head architect, and will walk you through our brief presentation. And then secondly, it will be Humberto and Stephen from Amazon to discuss the operations and economic benefits to the city Amazon will bring. So, Matt, can you take over?
Yeah, will do. Thanks, Rob. Good evening, everybody. Appreciate your time tonight. Noreen covered the majority of this, so I think that this is probably a fairly brief run-through on my side. I will do that.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Our screen shows nothing about what you're about to present, I hope. It will be.
Oh, are you? Let me see. I thought I was sharing. Let me.
Nope, my screen shows, well, I think all of us show the same screen right now.
Matt, you're not sharing. You can screen share, please.
I thought I had. Let me try again.
Well, now we have
Are you
something
seeing
that
it now,
says
guys?
site plan.
Much better. Thank
There
you.
we go. Okay, sorry. Technology is not my friend today, I guess. Okay, so again, I'll keep this pretty brief. Noreen did a great job presenting the project. So just want to run through a little bit more of the specifics on the operational flow of the site. So again, existing facility. I'm sure you're all familiar with the project location. We're really maintaining the building as it stands today, with the exception of the addition of the canopy out front, as Noreen had stated. So the building itself is, again, largely as is. Same with the site. We are restriping the site. That does mean that landscape islands will be redone. You're all familiar with the location. There's definitely been some neglect to the landscaping over the years. As part of this project and as part of the site renovation, we'll be bringing the existing landscaping back up to the original intent of the site, with replacement of dead materials, trees, shrubs, to make sure that it meets the requirements of the city. From the site operations, what you'll see here is in green. This is actually the truck access to the site for deliveries to the building. This is making use of the existing truck delivery doors that are existing in the building now. That flow really will be used only for over-the-road trucks. All of the vans that are accessing the site are going to be coming in from Madera and accessing the project site off of National Way. This is really the only user for that portion of National Way, so we don't anticipate conflicts. So vans will come to the site. They'll be staged in this area. This is where the fleet parking is. As vans are called up to be loaded, they'll queue up to the east of the building, below south of the building under that new canopy that's being installed. And then they're going to launch out through this new drive that Nurin had mentioned back onto National and then back out to the city. Umberto will go through a little bit more detail as to how that's actually orchestrated on the Amazon side, but that's from a site flow standpoint. Van parking is really predominantly in this part of the site. All the associates that are working at the warehouse will be using the lot on the west, and so this is currently a passenger vehicle lot. It'll be maintained as a passenger vehicle lot, with the main entrance for the employees being at this location at the building. So we're really focusing the associate employee experience on this facade and this entry point. There's also a small Amazon hub in this corner where customers can come and pick up a package or make a return if that's required. So we do have a small public access point here as well that we have done some enhancements to the building. Really, other than that, site flow is really maintaining how it's been used traditionally. There is an area up here that Nurin had mentioned that is parking for the building across the way. So that's being maintained per those existing lease agreements for access across this pedestrian bridge to the existing facility to the north of the parcel. Again, building elevations are being maintained largely as they currently exist. We are adding an accent band to the top of the building just through paint. And then we're at the south side of the building adding the canopy and doing some small enhancements at the entry points on the west elevation. Again, the intent is to maintain the existing character of the facility as much as we can. Okay, this image is showing the associate entry here. Again, small awning being added here. And then this is the hub entrance. This is the public entry point would be at this location. Again, this is for customers that choose to come to the facility to pick up a parcel or make a return. And again, the majority of the building is being used for parcel sort. The employee amenities are in this office location at the back of the building, including break rooms and restroom facilities, with the employee entrance here with locker rooms and a few amenities for employees here, as well as the public entry point here for just a small area for parcel pickup. Again, view of the new canopy being really the exterior feature that's being added to the building. Again, trying to maintain as much of the character as we can. Okay, that's really the overview of the exterior work being done to the building. Any questions on that before we move to Umberto and Stephen with Amazon?
Yes, this is Tim Hodge. What's the anticipated number of van trips per day?
Noreen, do you have that available in the staff report? I believe I had seen that.
Yes, I'm just locating it.
Thank you, Tim. 2,407.
Well, I believe that's the total number. I believe that's the total number of daily trips. My question was specific to vans versus employees. If you don't have that number, that's fine. I'm just curious. I would assume that you did. I was really sort of looking at it from the perspective of employees.
Yeah, I think Umberto can probably go through that operational flow for you. Tim, the operation of the site, the vans are all staged at the location overnight, and so you have employees, the drivers that'll come in the morning, they'll pick up their van, and then go and make the trips during the day. And I think Umberto can probably give the level of detail you're looking for there.
That's great. Thanks.
So good evening, Chair, Commissioners, staff, and members of the public. My name is Umberto Quintana. I'm the Entitlements Manager here at Amazon. I'm also joined by my colleague, Stephen Meduli-Williams. He's the Economic Development Manager, and Harry Gates, who leads the entitlement team on the West Coast. So I just want to start off by saying we're happy to be here in Simi Valley, and would like to take this time to go over what we do and how we do it. So here at Amazon, we focus on being the most customer-centric company in the world. Amazon Logistics specializes in the delivery of customer orders from delivery stations, which power the last mile of the customer order process. And this is not to be confused with the fulfillment center operation. So this is basically the tail end of this life cycle of a package. So as mentioned, delivery stations power the last mile of our order fulfillment process and help speed up the deliveries to customers. To give a sense of the life cycle of package is pulled from a fulfillment center the moment you order it. It's then shipped to a sortation center where it's then sorted down to a route level. It is then transported to a delivery station via line haul trucks. And we anticipate approximately 15 line haul trucks delivering packages to the delivery station each day within a 24-hour period. At that point, customer packages are then sorted to a delivery route, placed on movable racks, and staged for dispatch. And delivery stations, as you know, operate 24/7, and to support the delivery of packages to customers, we basically start our operations from delivery aspect at 10 a.m. And this is strategically done in an effort to be a good corporate steward, and basically dispatch our driver associates in increments of approximately 36 vans every 20 minutes to ensure that we don't interrupt peak traffic hour times. And that kind of just gives a very high level overview as kind of beginning of a package, where it ends up. And at this point, I actually want to hand it over to my colleague, Stephen Meduli-Williams, and he could talk a little bit more as to the employment opportunities and basically a little bit more so as to the numbers of employees and things of that nature, delivery associates. And I'll hand over the reins to my colleague here.
Thank you, Alberto. Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, City and Simi Valley staff. Again, I'm Stephen Meduli-Williams. I'm an Economic Development Manager at Amazon, and today I just wanted to talk to you real briefly about what is of great interest in terms of not only do we deliver packages to our customers in Simi Valley, but we also are creating local jobs and creating local entrepreneurship opportunities for its residents. So real quickly, we anticipate that this particular site is going to generate close to 300 jobs. Of those jobs, the vast majority are going to be full-time jobs. And so we're excited that, the vast majority of those jobs will be full-time jobs, and they all will provide benefits. And typically, there are three types of jobs with a delivery station like this. The first tier of jobs is what we call Amazon Associates, and these are employees that work directly for Amazon. And again, on a site of 300, we anticipate that there's roughly probably going to be about 140 so associates. And those associates, again, the vast majority of those will receive the same benefits that Humberto and I receive, and we're generally pretty excited about that. The second tier job is really kind of unique. And so basically, as you probably know, Amazon doesn't deliver directly. But what we've done is that we created a unique entrepreneurship model where we actually go out and we find small local entrepreneurs to operate our delivery vans. We call it our DSP program, or our Delivery Service Partner program. And on a site like this, there could be anywhere from 6 to 8 individual entrepreneurs who will in turn hire anywhere from 10 to 20 drivers of these vans to deliver our packages, the packages on our behalf. And typically, these drivers, on average, in California, make anywhere from $18 to $20 an hour. They also receive benefits, but the benefits are provided by the small business owners. The thing that we're really proud about this program is, again, it has what we call a double bottom line impact, really triple bottom line impact, in the sense of we create local entrepreneurship opportunities, we create local jobs, And then more importantly, it's a way that we can directly invest back into the city of Simi Valley. So we're really excited about that particular program. The last tier of jobs is what we call Amazon Flex. And this is a program where some people kind of compare it to Uber and Lyft, but it's different in a number of significant ways. First and foremost, it's a program where individuals bring their own vehicles to the site. And this is after, as Umberto said, our delivery vans generally go out at 10:15 a.m. And they usually they start going out at 10:15 a.m. and they're usually done by 1 p.m. After 1 p.m., then the flex drivers come in. In this case, they're probably going to be on average between 30 to 40 independent drivers who will come in, pick up packages. The same process that we use to load the delivery vans, we load the flex driver vans, and the flex driver vehicles, they get the vehicles loaded up and they're gone roughly about 3 p.m. and they're done for the day. And then unlike the vans who come back, once the flex vehicles go out, they don't come back. The unique thing about the employment opportunity is that, and it's really the operative word is flex, is that it's for individuals who need flexible work schedules. The pay generally on average is roughly about $25 an hour. It does not provide benefits, but again, it's designed to be kind of part-time work that pays better than a livable wage for individuals who need flexibility in their career in their life. So those are basically the three type of job opportunities that generally come with an Amazon delivery station. And I think, again, it's really important for us to make sure that we have local employees and local entrepreneurship partners. We found over a period of time, particularly over the last 2 years when we really started launching delivery station, that hiring locally works really best for us. It works best for the site and the station. And it works best for employees who don't have to, particularly in California, who don't have to slog through traffic to get to work every day. So that's kind of primarily how the employment works. In terms of before we launch, typically what happens is that our workforce staffing team likes to reach out to local partners, and they connect with local partners, and this could be any kind of workforce development organizations that the city uses to launch. Typically what we would do prior to COVID-19 is that we would do local hiring fairs where we would find a hotel or take a portion of City Hall and have these hiring events where we can attract local employees. Obviously with COVID-19 things have changed quite a bit, and so our hiring fairs are now virtual, but that's still, even with that said, we're still have the ability to work with your local partners to identify local residents and get them involved in the hiring process with Amazon. So that's the other component of the hiring that I want to talk about. So as we get closer to launching the site, we'll reach out to you and your local workforce development partners to come up with the best strategy to get the word out to local residents about the job opportunities at Amazon. So with that said, I'll be more than happy to take any questions that you might have. And I'm sorry, the last thing I want to add is that we also have a logistics community operations team, and once the site gets launched or just before it gets launched, that team is the team that really kind of, we're kind of the starting pitcher, and our relief pitcher is really the community operations team, who actually comes in and they become part of the site, and more importantly, their goal is to be part of the community. And so they've been fantastic particularly over the last 6 months in terms of working with local communities once we launch new sites, in terms of figuring out how else can we add value, how else can we support initiatives, everything from helping small local schools with computers and equipment to help with the digital divide, to providing PPE for small businesses who are struggling with COVID-19.
I'm going to need you to wrap this up a little bit because you're like 3 minutes over your total time. So if we can get this presentation wrapped up, will be great.
Okay, I am done. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Derek or Rob, any last minute things you want to say before, because you're already at 3 minutes over your time?
Nope. I think we just wanted to thank everybody again, and we're happy to be in Simi Valley and excited to get the project going and open and start providing jobs for the community.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. Do we have any questions of the applicant?
I do have a question. By any chance, is the arborist there, or somebody who can answer an arborist question?
Derek, Rob?
The arborist is not with us tonight, but we may be able to answer the question.
Okay, how about if I just give you my question and then we can go from there. By looking through the tree report, one of the things I noticed is about 24 of the trees are graded as an F for health and for structure and in some cases for aesthetic, but yet they're remaining. That's incredibly unusual. Usually when we have trees that are rated that low, they're removed. I'm just kind of baffled by that they're slated to stay here on the,
I think there's definitely room. I think there's definitely room for removal and replacement of those trees if they are identified as F. I don't think that the applicant's going to have any concerns with replacing those if that's the way the city would like us to go. There's some, 400 trees on site, so I think that it's really a matter of presenting the case for what's there, and we still have to have that conversation with staff about what they want to do with those that are lower graded trees.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Hodge, Tolson, any questions of the applicant?
No.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Did we receive any requests from members of the public to make a public statement on Zoom?
So we have some attendees on Zoom, and we believe they're all members of the applicant's team. However, if they would like to make a comment, they could do their hand raise feature on Zoom if they want any last-minute comments or make a statement. And then Ms. Ramirez could call them out if they raise their hands.
Okay, well, we're waiting for that. Do we have any email comments on this item received after 5 o'clock today?
No, we do not.
Okay. Is there anybody on Zoom that's raised their hand that they want to speak?
No, there isn't.
Okay. Are there any comments from staff regarding statements made during the public hearing?
No. So we were trying to verify if the staff report did identify the number of trucks going on the site daily. I believe the applicant responded to that partially for the larger vehicles, but the traffic report doesn't mention a number of vans coming onto the site or being operated, so we don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, I have a hand raised, but it's by a staff member, the city traffic engineer, Justin Link.
Yes, Chair, Commissioners, this is Justin Link. Wanted to respond to, and perhaps maybe the applicant could shed some light on this. The number of trips by the vans is actually tied directly to the number of employees. So the vans are actually considered a single trip because they leave the site. Every home that they stop at is not considered a separate trip. So once they leave the site and then return to the site, that's actually considered a single trip. So if the applicant has the number of employees per shift or the number of times that each shift returns to the distribution center, then that would give a better idea of the number of trips that are tied to each van.
I've got to believe that there are lots of employees that are working inside the warehouse that have nothing to do with driving the vans. I'm not sure how that would actually tie together. It's not a big issue. I just wanted to gain some additional context to the impact. If these vans, if there's, I just wanted to have that information sort of fill out my plate.
Okay. Would the applicant like
Stephen,
to...
do you have the...
Sorry.
Stephen, do you have the number of... My apologies. Do you have the number of associates and the number of vans for this location?
We anticipate roughly about 100, total 300 employees, of which about 140 are Amazon associates. And then probably, I would say, another 125 will be delivery drivers, and the balance will be flex drivers.
I'm sorry, can you run through those numbers one more time? I'm sorry, was it Steve?
Sure. So I'm here. So 140 associates. So those are Amazon associates who will just be working at the facility, and the only traffic they will generate is basically coming to work and going home.
Okay.
At this time, we anticipate there's probably going to be somewhere between 125 and 130, let's just say 130 drivers,
Got it.
Van drivers, and then the balance, which is roughly about 30, 30, which will probably be flex drivers.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that information.
Welcome. Thank you.
Would the applicant like to respond, I think they already did, to any of the comments regarding statements made during the public hearing? I think we pretty much covered that one from that last question. Do any other commissioners have any other questions of either the applicant or staff before I close the public testimony portion of the hearing?
Yeah, this is Tim Hodge. I have a question of staff, and I'm just curious about this. On page 5 of the staff report, third paragraph, the trip generation memorandum for the project was prepared, et cetera. Since the net trips per day generated by this project are less than 110 trips per day, the city's traffic engineer has determined that the proposed project is exempt, et cetera. And then the memorandum talks about 2,407 trips per day. Is there a typo here, or can somebody explain to me why there's 110 and then 2,407?
Commissioner Hodge, yes, that because the project as proposed will generate less trips than a fully occupied I'm taking it way back, countrywide, Bank of America corporate office, it will therefore generate a net of less than 110 trips, which is our threshold for requiring a VMT analysis. So as a result of generating fewer trips than what a fully occupied office space would generate, then it is not required to have a VMT analysis because the net is less than 110 trips. In fact, it's negative trips than a fully occupied corporate office.
When was that B of A analysis done?
The analysis would have actually used the trip generation for the existing office space. So if you were to take the existing office space and use current trip generation rates, then that is what it would be. So if the current office space were to be fully occupied, leased to a new tenant, then it would generate that number of trips.
I get it now. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further questions from any party, we're going to close the public testimony portion of the hearing. Are there any comments or questions from members of the Planning Commission? Okay, now would be the time to talk.
My one comment would be I would agree with Commissioner Rice. It definitely caught my attention, the fact that we have F-rated trees in our tree report that are going to be remaining. And I don't know if we can condition the project or just have staff work with them to either replace those trees or remove them. That would probably be in the city's best interest.
Well, carrying on just a little bit with that, one of the things I noticed is a lot of those are redwood trees. And from what little I know of, is those are really the wrong species to have in this particular location to begin with, and why they're there is kind of odd to me. So I would hope that, consultation between the applicant and the city, we could come up with something else, maybe. At least the worst of those trees that are there.
Commissioner Tolson, Commissioner Hodge?
Yeah, I agree with the questioning. I'd like to have some sort of a response to that, or at least some satisfaction that those will be amended.
Well, I guess the question is, do we want those trees removed and replaced? Do we want to?
Well, I mean, to me, if the arborist, says, look, I know it looks really bad, but, there's, this tree can be saved if we do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
That's a different story entirely.
Right.
But if it's something where you've got a tree that's going to be ugly and could pose a hazard in the future, then, I would feel much better. I mean, other than that, that's really my biggest sticking point at this point on this project. But I would hope that the applicant would be willing to work with the city to somehow mitigate this, or I'm not sure what the right phraseology is.
Again,
I don't know that taking, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact size of those trees, and they could, and since I didn't, so.
with 480 trees, I got to be convinced the city can work out something with the applicant regarding the F-rated trees. Either remove because they don't need them, there's too many in one area, or replace as needed.
Yeah, that's a start. The F value, I haven't personally looked at all the trees on the tree list. I know Narn's taken a look at it, but some of those, if they're considered hazardous trees, they could be exempt from replacement.
Right.
If they're still that lower rating, but they're in poor condition, but just maybe not aesthetically pleasing, as a low value, we could perhaps ask the applicant to remove those trees and pay the mitigation value for the tree being lost. It might be a smaller value, and trees would be replaced at the dollar amount equal to the lost trees.
Well, here, in this case, I'd rather have, I don't know that it has to be a dollar for dollar, in the sense that if we're talking about a redwood tree that probably doesn't belong there in the first place, if the applicant replaces it with a much lower cost tree, I don't see why that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about California oaks or specifically, a lot of these are redwoods, and that's my concern. And maybe I'm completely wrong on the tree species here, but that's how I'm reading it.
And my thought, with 480 trees, if there's 20 that are diseased and should be removed, just remove them and be done with it. Keeping on with the tree issue, my thought on page 5 of the staff report, or conditioned item number C8. The final landscape plan will be conditioned C8 to ensure the size of the trees planted and will ensure the site will be screened completely within 5 years. That goes with the conditioning on page 34, C8. Applicant must provide minimum landscape trees of 24-inch box size. This is for the front landscaping to hide or screen the new proposed
canopy.
I personally would rather see larger trees there, is my concern to the trees. Rather than waiting 5 years, I'd like to see, instead of 24, 36, or 48s conditioned for that, because I'd rather not wait 5 years to screen the canopy. Even though from the line of sight drawings, it looks like the canopy is below the line of sight for most other areas, except for that of National Way, which is their property anyways. It looks like the only people going up there will be their own employees. But if I'm going to die on a stand for trees, I'd rather it be the trees that they're going to use for condition C8 to make those larger trees. 36 and 48.
Yeah, my thought on this is that, we just need to go by the rules. So if these trees are F, and if they're F because I think that Commissioner Rice was quite correct. If they're F because of the lack of maintenance, of the lack of maintaining these trees over the course of time, but they are otherwise could be healthy with some trimming and some water, then that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with that. If there are trees that need to be taken out and they have no value, then my understanding is they can be taken out and there's no need to pay for that. I mean, let's just go by the rules, and I'm okay with the 5-year things. I think that complies. So in terms of being fair to the applicant and also adhering to our own requirements, I mean, it seems to me that this is a good catch by the Commissioner, and that we should simply go by what the rules are with respect to these trees, and feel like we did our jobs.
I concur with Commissioner Hodge.
Okay, Commissioner Tolson, any comments?
I'm in concurrence with the tree issues. Maybe just either hire an arborist to evaluate the F trees and move forward. And I trust the staff to take care of this correctly.
This is David Caceres, Assistant City Attorney. Am I able to be heard?
Yes, go ahead, David.
I would concur with the recommendation I just heard. If we have any trees that are of poor quality, they should be double checked by an arborist, a certified arborist, to confirm the health of those trees.
Yes, we have an arborist report, which already identifies that, and that certification is being verified by our landscape consultant, the cities. And from what I'm hearing, the applicant, the Planning Commission sounds like they're going to recommend that the applicant consider removing the lower grade trees, and they don't have to replace with the same type. They have their choice to plant less trees, but they would have to comply with the tree removal ordinance for whatever value. They could plant different trees elsewhere at different sizes. It doesn't have to be the same location. It does not have to be the same outdated species, if that makes sense.
I'd agree with that. If they remove a redwood, I don't think they need to replace it with a redwood.
No, well, I hope they don't.
If the trees have no value, then...
Well, it's true.
then
If
they
they're an
might
F tree, they probably wouldn't have much in the way of value anyways.
Right.
Yeah, so. Mr. Caceres, does that sound right?
Well, I just want to make sure that the Planning Commission can impose a condition to do away with any tree that is substandard. I think that's important for the Commission to consider.
Okay, if it's agreed by the applicant's arborist and the city arborist, would that be correct?
You can do that. You can do that by way of condition.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a consensus for the planning commissioners to make that a condition?
Sounds good to me. Sounds very good.
Yeah, I'm good with this. Remember, we're recommending to the city council, so I don't think that we have to,
right,
have anything final here.
Okay.
You can recommend that condition.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody's taking good notes for the condition. Any other comments from planning commissioners regarding the project?
I would just say this is a phenomenal project. I'm excited for this to be brought to our city. I think it's a great use for the site. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Rice?
I would have said it the same way. It was exactly the same thing.
Commissioner Tolson, comments?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Hodge?
Yeah, I have nothing adverse to say about the project. It's a simple reality that other project probably wasn't going to be built, if at all, for quite some time. And this is a good use of the project. I'm glad that they can make use of it in the condition that it's in, because it's obviously going to speed up the process quite a bit. So good for them, and I can support the project.
Being that we're not losing any light industrial space and we're getting jobs for an abandoned building that we've gone through before with people that have wanted to do things, at least this is in my opinion, a good project because it brings jobs and it brings life into that old abandoned building. So with that, may I have a reading of the resolution?
Resolution number SVPC 12-2020, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley recommending to the City Council approval of conditional use permit CUPS 831, specific plan amendment SPS 7, Amendment 28, and adoption of the project mitigated negative declaration to allow the construction and operation of a warehouse distribution facility in an existing 290,000 square foot building for the 43.55-acre parcel located at 400 National Way and to allow warehouse and distribution use in the West End specific plan mixed-use zone.
Now, we got to add in there as conditioned.
As conditioned.
As amended, sorry, as amended.
As amended or conditioned?
With the proposed condition. And
So, as conditioned.
As conditioned, I'm good with that.
Okay.
so, and if we could also want to clarify this condition star C10, which we would propose, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Rice, since you were kind of leading the charge here. Applicant shall work with staff to remove undervalued, i.e. F-valued trees, and utilize any mitigation values with replacement trees
Yeah, anywhere on the property?
anywhere on the property.
I'd be good with that.
Okay. Because they're probably,
They can put whatever they want in.
yeah. Well, it has to be the city approved.
Right, yes. Yeah, the city will work with them.
Okay. You,
We good?
you can, whenever, I'm waiting for you to entertain you, and I'll entertain you, so.
Okay. David Caceres, are we good with that wording?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I thought there was another component that we would have the city's arborists also work in consultation with the applicant's arborists to make some of those findings and determinations. And we can move, make a motion subject to the condition and further clarify in a subsequent writing.
Yeah, I guess whether we said the city, whether it's the city or the city's arborist, I think we could just, if we want to get specific, we say the city's arborist, or we can just leave it as the city.
It's the city's arborist.
City arborist.
City arborist, it is conditioned. Okay?
That could work.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move to adopt a resolution recommending to the city council approval of CUP S831 SPS 7 Amendment 28 and the project's mitigated negative declaration as conditioned.
May I have a second?
I second the motion.
We'll go with Vice Chair Castleberry for the second. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Tolson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Rice,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Castleberry,
Yes.
Chairperson Mann.
Yes. The motion passes. The appeals period for the conditional use permit is 14 calendar days and 5 days for the specific plan amendment. With 3 affirmative votes, this item will proceed to the City Council with a recommendation of the Planning Commission. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. Next item. No other new business. Oral communications and reports. Does staff have any oral communications or reports?
I believe we have a tentative agenda for November 4th. It'll be another conditional use permit modification for to the approved hotel on Cochran Street near the corner of Sycamore and Cochran, kind of behind the Junkyard restaurant.
Do any commissioners have anything to report?
No.
Mobile Home Rent Mediation Board.
We have no items tonight.
Tree Advisory Board.
No items tonight.
This concludes the meeting of 10/21/2020. The next scheduled meeting will be on November 4th, 2020. This meeting is adjourned.
Take care, everybody.